TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. All, yeah. Who are you an invincible fan of? Big Daddy's in the house. Time to behave, guys. Big Daddy left. Yeah. Hi, Bushwild. That's how we do that. We don't play games like that. Somebody wanted to be rude. I don't know why, but they do. That's just the way society is. All kinds of trolls and people that like to come into other people's lives and say really inappropriate things. And obviously, they just don't have anything better to do with their time. So hi, I'm Tanya. I also go by a pseudonym, Sharia and Lorian. I have several books published underneath that pseudonym, in fact. One more that drops right away here, either at some point today or tomorrow. The book will be available on Amazon, and it's Infinite Wonders. The Universe Has No End. So it's a children's story. The other book that dropped actually was released today, and that is under my Tanya Baldwin name. And that is Tiana and the Phoenix That Refused to Burn. So check those out worldwide on Amazon. And also you can pick up the ebook version on my website. Those two recent ones I haven't added to the site yet, so you'll just have to wait. I think I'll put them up tomorrow. Hi, Craig. How are you? So today is solstice, and I know for some of us, we have no clue what that is. Some of us have a vague idea because we've heard about it. Some of us participate in it, and we maybe participate in solstice through mainstream astrology and traditional ways. I want to talk about what we should be doing on this solstice through true sidereal and also through the Krystic lens. And when I talk about the Krystic lens, I just mean free of distortion, outside of religion and outside of like government and that stuff, right? Like I try to seek out the truth of the truth and present that to everybody. So I want you to just take a moment just to arrive, okay, fully into the live. And this is for anyone that's showing up watching the recording. It's important that I keep the flow of the live going well. So apparently solstice has trolls out in full force. So that's just awesome. Anyway, I've launched 2 books today. Check them out on Amazon. And we're going to talk about solstice and true sidereal, Krystic astrology, embodiment, walking the Krystic path. That type of stuff is what I share on this channel. If that doesn't align with you, by all means, continue to scroll. If you want to embody your truth and live the life that you came here to live, then stick around and listen. But it's not just about listening. It's not just about acquiring knowledge. There's a huge part of what we're doing that actually involves doing, right? We have to be it. How do we have the systems that we have in place now? Like, why do we have the current structures that we have in place? It doesn't matter if you think that, you know, you're in a spiritual war and someone hijacked something, or it doesn't matter if you think that, you know, it's just these people that through, you know, really rich families stepped into it. It doesn't matter if you think that it's been a voted thing. It doesn't matter how we got here. The point of the matter is, the reason why we have these structures in place now is because somebody built them, somebody implemented them, somebody took action and created it. So if you want something different than what we're seeing, we have to create that. We can't just wish it into being. And manifestation in mainstream astrology or mainstream really focuses a lot on dreaming it into being, wishing it into being. Some will you just have to think it. You just have to think it. You can say affirmations over and over and over and over and over again and think about what you want, and you're going to get it miraculously. It's going to show up on your doorstep. Some go as far as saying, I'm going to think it, and I'm going to say the affirmations, and maybe I'm even going to feel it. And that's taking you a step further for sure. But if you're not taking action on anything, if you're sitting there in your current patterns, cycling round and round and round, then not changing anything, then you're not going to see any change. You have to change to have change, right? So look at who you want to be, which should be just you, who you are inherently at your core, the you that you've forgotten about. You know, you made a plan that there was something that you wanted, some existence that you wanted to have in this lifetime. So what is that existence that you wanted to have in this lifetime? What's the identity that you need to have in order to acquire that? Right. And it's just about being honest about who you are, what aligns with you, what lights you up, what doesn't, and then just have integrity in those spaces. If, sorry, tickle in my throat right at that time. If you have a belief system that chlorinated water is like not good for you, that the tap water that you get in cities and stuff, right? Then you stand on that. You don't drink it. You don't say that I believe that is really toxic or terrible for me, and I'm drinking all these, the chlorine and the fluoride and all the chemicals and maybe pharmaceuticals that are in the water, and you know that, but you still drink it, right? That's when you're out of coherence. Your inner self is saying, this is not aligned with me, and I know why it's not aligned with me, but then you go and continue to do it. It's like alcohol, let's say. I don't drink alcohol at all. And people will be like, oh, thinking it's just a fad, or it's just, I needed to stop drinking because I was an alcoholic. I was never an alcoholic. I didn't stop drinking because I had a drinking problem. I stopped drinking because I saw what alcohol was. I saw that alcohol is nothing more than an avenue for dark energy or entities to attach to me. When you look at you drinking, right? When you look at having a drink, and I talked to my son about this, and I'm like, it's interesting that when you drink, you think it's lowering your inhibitions and it's allowing you to say things, but I don't think it's always you that's saying them. I think you're allowing yourself to open up to the entity, and that entity is like goading you into doing things, right? Or pushing you into doing it. So you'll get into a disagreement with your partner. And if you've not had any drinks, it's a disagreement. Maybe it just stays at that. Maybe it gets heated, maybe it is a good fight. But when you have alcohol in the mix, maybe then you're starting to use name calling, or maybe you're degrading her, because it's almost, or him, right? Maybe in your mind, you're hearing, say this, tell her that, tell him that, do this, right? And that's the energy from it. So that's my belief system. So I don't drink alcohol. If I went around somebody and they're like, here, have a drink, and I took it and drank it, that's not in alignment with my beliefs or with my truth. So that would be out of coherence with me. And that means that I'm not standing in my embodiment. I'm not standing in the stream where everything flows to me with ease. Because there is a stream where everything comes to you with ease, right? Where you are getting up, you are listening to yourself, you are following what your soul is guiding you towards. You have boundaries, you rest when it's appropriate without guilt, you do things when you need to, you're standing on your words, you're being honest to yourself. So we're going to do a session for solstice. Like I said, today is December 21st, which is solstice. And depending on which side of the earth you're on, you're either in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. So that would be either winter solstice or summer solstice. For me, I'm in Canada, and I mean, it's a winter wonderland out there. It's very cold, 12:12 on the clock right now. It is very cold. Minus 23 probably feels like minus 30-ish in that range. It's not super windy today, but it's very cold, winter wonderland out there. But it's the winter solstice. That means that the sun is in Sagittarius. That's where it sits, unless the sun continues. When it continues to move, it'll get a little further out. But the sun is sitting in Sagittarius, and so is the moon this time. We actually have a stellium in Sagittarius. We have quite a few planets that are currently in the sign of Sagittarius. And I'm going to look at my star map right now. We'll go to the... I'll go in here and just see the... Perfect. So we have the sun, Venus, Mars, and the moon all in Sagittarius. It's quite the cluster. And then we have Mercury over there in Ophiuchus, right? So that's a lot of fire energy in one sign. It's powerful. So what are we going to do with that energy? So I want you to just take a moment. Okay. We're going to settle our body. We're going to allow our breath to deepen. One of the ways you can tell how your nervous system is by the tension in your tummy. Some of that tension we have there because we are vain, right? We hold our tummies taut to, so that we look good, we look thinner, right? Keep that tummy tucked in. But oftentimes it's the tension in our nervous system and the tensions in our energetic spaces that has us tightened up. And it's because we're not relaxed. We're not breathing into our abdomen, where our breath is more up here. So allow your breath to deepen into your tummy and let the noise of the world soften, right? Pull your awareness into you, not everything that's going on around you. Today is solstice, and that's the moment when the sun appears to pause in the sky. Not because it's lost momentum or, it's just because it has reached that moment of perfect alignment. This is a still point within the year, and we have two of them. It's like a hinge upon which direction turns. So we have this beautiful moment today. In true sidereal, as I was speaking about the constellations and where they are within the sky, we have the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Sagittarius. This fire meets awareness. Truth meets feeling. Direction meets embodiment. Because Sagittarius is not about optimism in the sense like they make it seem like Sagittarius is just lucky, this happy-go-lucky, no care in the world, doesn't want to settle down, always up for an adventure. I mean, that part's kind of true, but it's typically a quest, right? There, maybe an unhealthy Sagittarius is going to show, an unhealed Sagittarius may align with some different elements, but the healed Sagittarius energy is very much, it's a quest. And it's a quest because you're taking everything that you've learned, everything that you've discovered, the deep dive that happened during Scorpio, the burning and rebirth that happened during Ophiuchus, and Sagittarius is ready to fire that in direction of where you are meant to go. That's aligned with your truth, the truth that you've discovered this year, this level of truth. So it's about trajectory, like the arrow flies is trajectory. So it's always asking you this question, and in this case, it's uncompromising. Where is this actually taking you? The direction that you're headed in now, where is it taking you? That's a big question. Does anyone care to share what their answer is on that? Right? The path that you're currently walking, where is it taking you? The actions that you're taking every day, where are they going to get you? Right? If you're still spiraling in the same patterns, sorry, I have new birds that showed up. I've been here for almost 2 months. At the beginning of January is 2 months that I've been in this house. And there was a pretty decent population of birds. Sorry for the side quest, I guess, side chat. ADHD, we're on an adventure. Anyway, there were chickadees and there were all kinds of different woodpeckers, and more woodpeckers have showed up. There were blue jays, which are very common in Canada and in Alberta. And so mostly I had like the downy woodpecker, the hairy woodpecker, the blue jay, chickadees. Occasionally you'd see a northern flicker. And then, of course, the raven that lives on the property and a few crows that come around here and there. But the other day I started seeing pine grosbeaks, which are more red, especially if they're the male. And then now I have a whole flock of common redpolls. And the men are like the male birds, which tend to have more color than the female birds. And in this case, they do. They have this like flash of like rose, like a blush on their chest. And then they've got this bright little red patch on their forehead. So that red on the chest and the red on the forehead. So right now outside, I have about 4 of those redpolls. And then I also have, I'm pretty sure, oh no, he just took off. I was pretty sure it was a downy woodpecker that was there. So it's just nice to see those new birds come in. But sometimes the birds out the window can be distracting. All right. So nobody wanted to offer up where their path is taking them, where they're headed. Nobody's brave enough between YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. Ooh. Well, I know where my path is taking me. Every day I get up and I live an embodied life. I live according to my soul. I make decisions that are aligned to me. I have good boundaries. I take steps towards my vision of Anshara'El, my vision for Hugs for Homeless, all of those things. And so I can see that the steps that I take on a daily basis are going to get me where I want to go, because there's steps to take you in that direction. But if your steps are just taking you in the same circle over and over and over again, and you're wondering why, well, then maybe it's time to change direction. And today is a beautiful day to do that. So this is not what you hope. This is not what you say, right? This is what your choices, habits, and energy are moving toward, right? It isn't, I hope that I get there. It isn't, I say I'm going to get there and I'm not doing anything. It's I'm actually choosing, and I have habits, right? I do my lives, I post my content, I engage with people, I create things, I offer classes, I do soul alignment sessions. Plus I do the back end work too. I meditate, I connect with my oversoul, I channel information, I hold rituals, I do my own decrees and my own things. The same stuff that I teach you, I do. And so I know that with my actions, my habits, and the way that my energy is aligned, that I am headed in the direction that I want to have the things that I want. If you're not seeing those things happen, or you feel like it's 1221 on 1221. So seeing the 1221, 1221 twice there, just want to make a note of that. So solstice is not about creating something new. It reveals what is already in motion. So what are you doing that's creating the motion in the direction that you want to head in, to create the things or to have the things that you desire, the future that you want? So in Krystic teachings, it's truth before action, right? This is a foundational principle. Alignment precedes action. And I can tell you this from someone that has created an enormous amount of things, the difference between launching something because I got to get it out there, because there's a hustle, there's a grind, I need somebody to purchase this because I need money, because I'm in lack, or I'm in a hurry, or I'm like trying, to come from a different way, but it's definitely not an aligned way. To then the way that it is now, where I am aligned, and the courses that I'm creating and launching are from that aligned space. So there's a difference in that energy, and there's a difference in what gets created. There's a difference in how it's received through the through society, through others, right? And that's because you're in alignment. So you have to get in alignment and then take action from that aligned space. Embodiment precedes expansion. You have to embody your truth to expand in that way. Otherwise, you're going to be expanding something that you don't want, right? And you may think you want it, but if it's not in alignment with you, it's not in alignment. So we do not act first and then hope that alignment happens. We orient first, and then action becomes inevitable, becomes aligned in as well, right? It aligns itself when you have aligned yourself. All of your actions are aligned. I think it's just obvious, right? So why is solstice so powerful? It is not a manifestation portal, which is what mainstream may have you believe, that we want to manifest today, or, we're doing all of these intention settings and stuff like that. This is not what solstice is about in Krystic astrology, or, in Krystic astrology. It is an orientation gate. It's an opportunity for you to look and say, am I headed in the direction that is going to create what I want for a future, right? You have to have the vision of the future. You have to know that you can have that future. You have to be embodying the identity of that future. And that identity doesn't mean that, let's say you want to be a famous rock star, that you have to do everything that, say, Kid Rock did to become that. You don't have to make all of those choices. You don't have to be Kid Rock to be that, right? You want to be you, and you want to get right with what is that identity. If you believe that the identity of a rock star means selling your soul, and you don't want to do that, then that's never going to align with you. So does that mean that you throw out the idea of being a rock star? No, you redefine the idea, which is interesting, because that's what the story that I just published about Tiana and the Phoenix Refused to Burn kind of highlights, right? That Phoenix didn't want to be a Phoenix that's on fire. It loved the water. And so what did it do? It became a water Phoenix. It redefined what a Phoenix is. You can rebirth yourself through water. So that's what that story is about. And it's the same concept. You don't have to. There are people out there who are making who are making music, who are aligned, who are not, trying to corrupt you, that aren't making music that is, aligned with like anti-Krystic principles or anything like that. They're not doing rituals on the scene. They didn't sell their soul. They're just making genuine, holistic music. So the point is finding those people. And if you want to be a rock star, or you want to be, a musician like that, then be that musician. Don't be afraid to redesign it, right? Yeah, okay. I think you need to go find an Olympic athlete or a gymnast of some sort. There's probably maybe 1% of the population maximum that could do a triple backflip. Maximum? I don't even know if 1% of the population could do a triple backflip. It might even be less than that. It might be a 0.1% of the population. If you're going to give somebody something, give it because you want to give it, and you just genuinely want to do so, not because you want them to jump through Exactly. Truth? I can't do one. I can bend over backwards. I could do an arch with my back, when you used to do those bridges in school. I could still do that, But that's about it. That's about it. I was not a gymnast. We did not have money for me to be a gymnast. That was not the childhood that I experienced. Let's just put it that way. So in Krystic teachings, like I said, there is a foundational principle that alignment precedes action. You need to align in the right direction. Remember, I don't know if you learned this when you're driving, but did you know that where you're looking is where you're going to drive to? And hi, Elizabeth, love to you, sweetie. Thanks for the heart. If you're driving, right, and you start looking out the window at something there, what happens? Do you keep driving down the road in the right direction? Not necessarily. Sometimes what you do is you push away from what you're looking at. So you start going in the opposite direction because you're compensating, because you know your tendency is to go drive to where you're looking, right? The same thing when you throw a ball. And my brother would have told me this 1,000 times. When you look where you're throwing it. Look where you're throwing it. When you're playing golf, if you hit the golf ball, you want to follow through. You don't stop watching it when you hit it there. You follow the club on through to where you want the ball to go, right? You have to be aligned and then take direction. Otherwise, you're not headed in the right direction. You're going to be heading somewhere that you don't want to be, right? And so get aligned first. Sorry. And if you're seeing all those patterns, then obviously that's not the alignment that you're meant to be in. You're meant to be looking at that pattern and saying, why is this still happening? What am I doing the same that's allowing this to keep come up? And sometimes it's just coming up because you have healed it. And this is that opportunity for you to look at it and respond in a different way and move beyond it. And then you'll never see it again. And you can also say, thank you. I've seen this before. Not engaging with it, not doing that. We're not, I'm not going down that pathway again. Thank you. No, I don't need to see this again. I don't need to experience this again. I've had enough of this experience. So thank you. Move that out of the way. So what you face today becomes the road beneath your feet. So I invite you to ask yourself gently and honestly, where am I already aligned? Okay. I know all the spaces I'm already aligned. Where am I performing alignment instead of living it? So we're getting a little deeper now. Where am I performing alignment instead of living it? Probably have a couple of truth spots there. We don't fake it till we make it, right? That's not the way to do it. That's the backwards way. So what truth have I known for some time but delayed acting upon? There's a truth that keeps coming up, or there's a truth that you know, but you're either lying to yourself or minimizing it, disregarding it. Yeah, this relationship is going to fix itself one of these days. Neither one of us are changing, but change is going to happen in our relationship someday. Someday this place of employment's going to get better. Maybe someday they'll hire a qualified manager. Maybe someday, don't be living in those cycles, right? And you don't want to be answering these questions from the mind. You want to be answering them from the body. You want to let your soul speak. Okay. Sagittarius lives in the hips, the thighs, and the legs. That's what it governs, the energy of Sagittarius. So it governs forward motion, right? It's the centaur. Like this is big movements, strong bottom half. Not to mention armed with an arrow that's pointing in the direction of the truth, because Sagittarius is the truth energy as well. So make sure you're firing it in the right direction, that you're facing the right direction. When you're asking these questions to yourself, notice where in your body it's tightening and where in the body it's relaxing. Because your body already knows the truth and it knows the right path that you're supposed to take. Now, Mother Gaia, she responds to coherence. She wants you in alignment. She wants you in alignment because when you're in alignment, that is a powerful energy for her to remember and to awaken and to become more aligned with her new earth frequencies as well, with the original blueprints. Because every one of us came down here with codes. We're doing more than we realize, even just being. That's why you don't have to actually accomplish something or produce something necessarily. We all have different things. For me, I obviously came down here to write books. That might have been a part of something that I assigned myself, was education, to bring down some, like the true information and allow the truth to rise, right? And to put that education back out there. But many of us have that belief system that we came down here with a mission, with a passion, with a purpose, that we have some grand design that we're here to do. So if you believe that, are you on that pathway or are you still playing around? So Gaia is not going to respond to wishes or affirmations. You can go out there and say, please, Mother Gaia, please, I just want $1 million and 40 acres. Please, just give it to me, please. You can say, I own, or I have these things. And those affirmations alone aren't going to cut it, right? When you align your inner truth, stumbling over my own tongue, with outer action, so inner truth plus outer action, then the planetary field stabilizes. So this is why a solstice ceremony is never about asking. They are about witnessing. So you're standing at a turning point. You're acknowledging the reality, and then you're choosing to walk in integrity from there. Today, Gaia is listening for honesty. Okay, she's looking for the person that is in embodiment. Gaia is the body. Source is the spirit in that type of relationship that we have, with our oversoul being the spirit and our body being earth or being the temple. So it's the same marrying. When we stand in our authenticity, aligned with our soul, and we step forward walking in that alignment, that is so powerful for Mother Gaia, right? And it's so powerful for all of us. And that's what we're meant to do. So Gaia is listening for your honesty. So as we move forward, and it's actually tomorrow, what time did I have that at? Let me see. I have a note somewhere that talks about the time that it changes tomorrow. So Venus is going into Sagittarius at 16:43 today. At 16:43 today. So that's going to add another one in the Sagittarius energy. Which puts the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, all in Sagittarius. So it's a stellium. And then, sorry, I almost accepted an invitation. That would have been interesting. I would have to get out right afterwards again. All right. So then tomorrow, the moon goes into Capricorn in the morning. Right, it goes into, I think I had the calendar up, but then I changed it so I could see the whole sky. Let me go to the moon. Sometimes things like, accuracy matter to me. All right, so we're 21st December 2025. We're going to skip ahead to the 22nd, and it's around 8 something, I think. Nope, 7 something, 7:35. All right, so tomorrow morning around 7:35, my time anyway, and it depends on your time in relation to that, we have the moon entering into Capricorn. And when the moon enters into Capricorn, we're going from the, the truth firing in the direction of our highest alignment, if we're aligned with it, right? Moving in that direction. It's about taking and heading in the direction of our visions. And it's that orientation of today. Now, Capricorn takes it and says, let's build structure, because Capricorn is about long-term legacy, right? Capricorn's the dad. Capricorn wants us to have stuff for long time from now, which is beautiful. Okay. So first we want truth, right? Then we want responsibility, and then building what is real. Okay, that's the order that we're doing things, right? We get our truth, we take responsibility for ourselves, right? Our alignment, our embodiment, and then we build from that space. So we're building what is real. This is the path, the way of Anshara'El, and like this is the pathway of ascension. We don't bypass, we embody. We don't escape the world, we bring coherence into it. So I don't do prediction stuff like that, Asfan. I don't, and nobody really like, what do you think? And that's the biggest thing that you can ask yourself. Sit with your truth and ask yourself, is everything going to be okay? And if an anxiety rises, then there's something within you that feels at least like it's not okay. So that can be an opportunity for you to look at, do you have a limiting belief about your safety, your stability, about money? Are you operating from a space of lack, right? So it's more about you feeling into your body and feeling, do I believe or know? Do I know that I'm going to be okay because I'm always cared for, right? I'm always provided for. And are you okay with accepting that if that, whatever, some say financial payment doesn't come in and something happens because of that, are you okay with the fact that that what happens is an experience for you to like look at that, learn, grow, change? There's something that's coming from that you're meant to shift from. So if this transmission resonates with you, or the stuff that I'm talking about, stay close, right? The Anshara'El pathway of ascension has a variety of things within it, but one of the things is the School of Light community, and it's a living teaching. It's a place where truth is practiced. It's not performed. Hello, love. How are you? Mwah. There are many ways to walk this path as well, from the free temple of light to deeper initiatory circles. So you will always be guided to the level that matches your readiness and integrity. Hello, look at you two ladies popping in at the same time. How lovely. Happy winter solstice to you as well. So you will always be guided to the next level that matches you. Hi, Magic Marker. Hey, lady. So on this solstice, you're being asked to stand in honesty. TT. You're asked to choose direction over distraction. You are asked to walk forward in coherence with the sky, the earth, and your own inner law. Blessings for solstice. So solstice is not about setting intentions. It's about choosing direction. Truth becomes the path when resistance ends. So do you want to look at that question again? Do you want to hear that question again? The big question for us today, or some of our questions for today. What are your plans for solstice, love? Do you have some ideas? Are you going to be doing something about it? It just became a couch potato. Is that what you want? Is that what's aligned for you? The question that I asked earlier, after saying, so Sagittarius, that's okay, then rest. Your body needs rest, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're exhausted, it means that you've been at least putting your energy out there in areas that aren't for you, right? And I don't mean that in the sense that, you know, it could be at that time it was the wrong time. It could be those people are draining, those events are draining, I'm taking on too much, I'm not allowing myself to rest without guilt or shame, stuff like that. Beautiful. I like that. That's lovely. So the question that I have to ask you today is, if you're walking in the right direction, right? Happy Sunday, happy solstice. So Sagittarius is about direction. It's about truth, direction, right? A quest maybe would be nice, right? but Sagittarius is taking forward motion. It governs the thighs, the legs, the powerful movement, right? The motion makers. So it's asking you one uncompromising question, and that is, where is this actually taking you? If you continue in the direction that you're headed, doing the things that you're doing, where are you going to end up? If nothing changes day after day, then you're probably going to end up in exactly the same space that you are right now, unless some external force enters in the equation and knocks you off point of those habits or those routines or that cycle or pattern that you're in, right? You need something to push you out of that if you're not willing to do it on your own. So that's the big question for solstice. The direction, if you continue the patterns, the habits, the behaviors, the beliefs, the alignment that you're in right now, where is that taking you? And I had some other reflections for you as well, which were, where did I have them in my notes? Where am I already aligned? So where are you in alignment? What things do you know are absolutely in alignment with you? You know that they're in alignment with your soul. You know that you've assessed the distortions, the lies, the manipulation, the societal programming from the equation and are looking at the truth of it. Is it in its truth aligned to you? And if it is, then that's beautiful. Note those things down. You don't have to change any of that. Where are you performing alignment instead of living it? So there may be some places in your life where you heard things such as fake it till you make it and all of that stuff. Where are you doing those things? Where are you, maybe some people, like have a channel like me and they just do lives and are performing. It's not from the sense of authenticity and stuff, right? Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So where am I performing, right? And some of us are performing because we think in order to have the thing that we want, we have to be that particular person who has the things that we want, right? So we're thinking, I use the example of being a rock star, right? If you think that you want to be a rock star, maybe you've identified or you've adopted the identity that you have to be like Kid Rock, exactly like Kid Rock in order to be a rock star. You have to sell your soul or you have to do whatever, right? You might have that belief system, but maybe that's not the accurate belief system. I mean, you don't have to acquire that, right? So part of it is getting clear with what the truth is. And then when you know the truth and it's aligned to you, moving forward or taking action from that point is alignment. It is embodiment. So we want to be doing it because it's who we are, not because it's who we think we have to be in order to have that thing. I'm not on here pretending to be Teal Swan, or I'm not on here pretending to be Sonia Choiquette. I'm not on here pretending to be anybody. I'm just on here being me. And that's what you're supposed to be, is inherently you in your alignment and in your truth and taking actions from that space. So the other question that I had was, what truth have I known for some time, but delayed acting upon? Because there's lots of places where we've been lying to ourselves. Maybe you are, for a long time, you've been thinking that you should enter into a more sacred relationship with cannabis. We use that one. So you've been thinking that you're supposed to be you should enter into a more sacred relationship with cannabis, which means that you would only be doing it on occasions, when for ritual purpose, or to deepen or to open and expand your consciousness for the actual things that cannabis is designed for, instead of using it habitually or routinely or daily, right? Because that's not how it's meant to be. So if, let's say, the truth is, you know that there's been some amount of identifying with an old identity of you, or identifying with another identity, or you've been, convincing yourself that it's okay because, you're living and you're doing your thing, so it's okay. Yeah, no circle with relationships. No way. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. Unfortunately, we all know how much it takes to change, right? We all know how much growth is required. And a lot of times we misdiagnose our relationships. And I'm saying this from a space of honesty and from having done it. Right. And we might look at somebody in our relationship and we're in an 80-20, and that seems to be the types of relationships that we end up with. 80% of it's pretty good. 20% of it is trash or toxic or misaligned or whatever. And we stay in those relationships thinking we can get the other 20% over to the 80% and we'll have a perfect relationship. But the problem is that's not going to happen ever. And sometimes we misidentify, thinking that the reason why that person and us are not aligned is entirely due to, emotional immaturity or having trauma. And if they just did some healing, then everything would be perfect. But it's not the truth, because if you actually truthfully evaluated the relationship, you'd realize there's just ways that you're different, energy that's different, right? Me and my partner, my business partner with Hugs, we used to be in a relationship, and, we were in a relationship for 8 years. We broke up so many times. I don't know, probably 6 times in the course of our relationship, but we still ended up being friends. We considered maybe redating. We never did. And it's for the best. We're friends now, and we're partnered in Hugs for Homeless, but we're not meant to be in an intimate relationship because our energy is far different. And some of our core beliefs and integrity things are different. In order for us to be in a relationship means that somebody's got to compromise, or both have to compromise. So I either have to slow down and put the brakes on and pull myself back, or he has to start taking leaps and jumps and, stuff like that, because I'm fire. I am like, let's go. And he's more earth, right? He's very stable. He's, like very stable, grounded energy. And it's a beautiful complementary energy to mine as friends, but not in a relationship. It took time to get to that truth, because for a long time I had convinced myself that he just needed to heal his trauma and I need to heal my trauma, and then we could be together. Not paying attention to the fact that there were core differences in how we show up every day, or core differences in our belief systems. And those belief systems, sure, they could change, right? But that's not what you're meant to do, right? The person that you are aligning with, you are meant to be whole in yourself. You remember who and what you are, and you're whole in that. You're not seeking something to complete you. And then when you enter into that relationship, you're going to meeting someone that's whole with you, right? Because it's a mirror. all of our relationships around us are mirrors of some capacity. They're here to show us and reflect back to us some component of us. Some of it's reflecting back to us exactly what we do not want, how we do not want to behave, how we do not want to have things showing up in our lives. Oh, so if I do that stuff, that's what's going to happen. Oh, okay. No more. We won't do that. Thank you for reflecting that back to me. Right. Some is reflecting back to us beautiful things. Right. I've seen friends, you know, like, I don't know how many times people have brought me food or supplies to my house so I didn't have to leave my house, and been very generous. Like, don't worry about it. You don't have to give me any money for whatever I've brought. Why are people generous with me? Because I'm generous. That's the reflection that's coming in. But anyway, that's it for my solstice today. I absolutely love you guys. My dog is going to start barking like crazy. If you want to watch the replay, go and check that out on my YouTube channels. And I'll post some clips from it on the thing. I don't know if I'm going to do a live tomorrow, but the rest of the week I'll be back on. In January, I am going to decrease the lives. I just wanted to do extra lives for now, because I hadn't been live for quite some time. But I love you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful solstice. Remember, align to the truth and then take direction with that truth. Love you. Bye, guys. And go check out Temple of Light. I always post the little bits, some little bits, like the rituals or the embodiment practices. I try to post those in the Temple of Light, and it's completely free at Anshara'El. Love you guys. Love you. Have a great day. And go donate to Hugs for Homeless if you have some money to give. That's what this QR code is up here. It's for Hugs for Homeless. That's my nonprofit. We build backpacks and distribute them into the homeless communities. We are based in Edmonton, Alberta. Temperatures today are probably around -30. So it's really cold out there. We have had some temperatures as low as -50 with the wind chill. So if you have anything to give, any little bit helps. And I love you. Sending blessings your way. Enjoy solstice. Mwah.